This past week, my family joined together in McCall, Idaho to celebrate the graduation of, my granddaughter. We were at McCall, Idaho, which is a wonderful place. We so enjoyed the scenery, the mountains, the lake, the beauty of this place. And it's hard to see something so magnificent and not see the hand of God. While strolling around McCall one day, I saw 3 vividly colored chairs sitting in front of a quaint little shop. I went in and explained that I wanted to return after dark and photograph the chairs. It's always funny when you talk to people and you say, I'd really like to come take some pictures, but I want to do it when there's no light. They look at you with kind of a scrunched up forehead, but I got permission, and so that's what I did. Now, this particular image, you can see it on the screen, was made up of about 25 separate exposures. The basic procedure is this. I set the camera on a tripod, and I set it up to make a 10-second exposure. Now, that's a long exposure. And during each one of those exposures, I run around with a flashlight and I literally paint illumination into the scene. I put a little light here and a little light there. I front light, I back light, I side light the different parts of the scene. And then I bring them together to create one finished image. And again, this is roughly 25 separate exposures to make up this one image. Now, the trouble is when people are skirting around, running here and there with a flashlight way after closing time in the middle of the night, well, it looks a little bit suspicious. And, at one point I looked up to see a police cruiser roll up. This is the kind of thing that, again, when you describe the process to people, they say, "You're doing what?" Well, that's what occurred here, but the officer was polite and courteous and very respectful, and soon he went on his way, and I went back to my business of looking incredibly suspicious in the middle of the night. Again, I did get permission from the owners, and if you want to do something similar, I strongly suggest that you do the same. Now, while we were at McCall, we were joined by a wonderful lady from San Diego. Her name is Leslie. Now, Leslie is related to me, kind of. We're actually related only by marriage, but even then, twice removed. She is really so far separated that we're really not considered to be relatives at all. She is, like I said, related by marriage, only twice removed. But I had a wonderful time to get to know her. Wow, I was so impressed. You see, we had only met once before, and then it was only for a brief moment, and that was years and years ago. Even though she barely knew me, she is a part of a women's group in San Diego. On a regular basis, this group gets together and they pray for family and friends, even those they barely know. I was so surprised to hear that Leslie and these women I've never even met have been praying for me and for my wife. What do they know that I miss? What do they perceive that my eyes fail to see? The answer is color. Today we are going to be talking about color. For the purposes of this discussion, let me attach a new definition to the word color as it applies to us. You see, I am not talking about the color of our skin, our eyes, our hair, but rather the color of our character as God sees us. The awesome combination of spiritual gifts and ungodly weaknesses, the combination of our courage and our fear, of our faith and our failure to believe, our desire to be righteous, and our attraction to sin. For purposes of this sermon, color describes the amazing combination of qualities that make you, you, and me, me. I think that maybe God sees it just this way as well. If we look in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, it reads, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them." And what did he have to say about his creations? He considered us in our many shades, hues, saturations. He saw and made us in vivid richness and peaceful pastels. And which of us does God love and respect more? Does he have a favorite color? Because he abundantly used all colors, I think we can argue that he loves them all, and therefore that he loves us all. In fact, it's amazing that we are created in every tone and texture of the rich colors of his creation. In Genesis 1:31 we read, "And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good." And what makes us, his creations, very good? Before I arrived with my flashlight, these chairs sat in virtually total darkness. They were as black specters in the night. It was only the application of light that brought up the colors and allow you today to see the beauty of their creation. We are not so different. We are fallen, broken, and in this condition, there is not much color to see other than black on black. It is the light of God that brings up the colors that God always meant us to have. Now, let us shift back to Leslie and her group of special California ladies. They love everyone regardless of color. Leslie began to weep as she described the years of constant prayer in her little group for me and my wife, Grace. Leslie barely knew us, and the rest of the group never knew us at all. The love of this group is unique. They are able to see people, even those colored with the pride and bondage of Mormonism, and they saw even in us beautiful colors. They understand that even the Pharisee, arrayed in the finest scarlets and purples, needs God. They knew that we, even when we believed we were made up of God's best colors, were only shades of gray and desperately needed God. So with the assistance of relentless prayer, God has literally poured out his light on us, and our colors have truly changed. This change has made us more vivid and brighter. It is literally not our color, nothing that reflects back on us. It is the color of Jesus' righteousness as it washes over us. So today I want to express my inexpressible love and appreciation for the good and wonderful women of San Diego. I will never think of you again without seeing the most beautiful of colors. The question is this: each of us, being colored as we are, can do something. What is it? The Great Commission calls on each of us to take part. Matthew 28:18 and 19 reads, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations." I am fully confident that when Jesus spoke these words, he saw men and women colored just like you. Our latest poster is part of the Art of the Word project. Now, our ministry cannot survive without your support, and we want to give something in exchange for that support. These prints are available, and you can have them with our text, or we will be so happy to include any text of your choosing